But sort of a fun question going back to company culture. Any ideas on how to maintain company culture in a virtual environment? I'll open that up to anyone who has any ideas.
I want to speak just from my personal experience. This is not so much a professional, but I think less is more. So do less, do it intentional, be very intentional about what you do. And rather than sometimes I feel like we think that everything that happened in real life now just translates to this virtual environment in exactly the same way. And it just doesn't. And so less is more. Do something small, do it well, have intention about it, and get off of it. And I think most people will appreciate that because we all now know what it's like to sit in very long meetings that don't seem to have any real purpose or, direction. Or we've probably all been in meetings where somebody's really trying to make it fun and it just simply is not. So in my mind, just be very intentional. And there are some good things that can be done. I think taking advantage of like breakout rooms, I've been in charge of some meetings where I pass out some questions and then put everybody in a breakout room and like have this conversation amongst yourselves and doing things like that to increase engagement rather than just this big group meeting where we're all pretending like we're enjoying it, so to speak, because it's a culture, cultivating event. But so anyway, I'm rambling on, but that's just my initial thought.
I think with the holidays coming up and the culture of your office and that too, there's a lot of new businesses that have gone to virtual events. I have clients that are doing game show virtual events. We just did a murder mystery virtual event with our team in the Innovation Center. So like Joel said, be specific with it, but give people the option to choose to participate or not participate. That's okay either way. But definitely keep it limited on time, and respect their time. But the ones that I have been involved in have been very fun and have done a good job. And once again, those companies are learning each time that they practice and showcase these events too. So give them good feedback.
I would double down on what Jill just said about giving the option to the employee to attend, because I was never in this percentage of people, but there are that percentage of people that are in your workforce that really love those type of events, and so, to keep them focused, I think is always good advice. But I also think equally giving people the opportunity to participate or not is really the key. That's really the key.
That surprises me, Gary.
Is your tongue like jammed in your cheek? I'm really a fun person, really. But
any other thoughts on that? Yeah.
Well, that leads me to a question, because if you've got people who really enjoy those kinds of online meetings that are more of a party environment, and you have people that don't want to do that, what's the alternative for the others to make them feel more connected or to have any kind of a team building experience? How do you balance it and reach the different personality types?
Well, I would offer that you would have a varied set or sample of activities, in order to, but I think you start off by probably asking them, right? I mean, I think you would go to those individuals and say, what type of activities or what type of events, would you like for us to try to develop? When I was actually a director, I would delegate it out to my executive assistant, who would set up task forces, and the people who wanted to sit on those task force, there would be a chair and a co-chair, and anybody who wanted to sit on those committees, then I would let that be driven by the employees as opposed to the top-down method, because I would get it wrong every time. So I would go to them and ask them, what do you want us to create? And then that always worked well, because you immediately had buy-in, right? Because it came from those employees, not from the leadership.
Redefining what get-togethers look like, right? Redefining what too cold means to be outside, and those sorts of things.
I have worked with a company that they're completely based virtual. They have been for years. They have company pizza parties where they have a pizza delivered to their employee's house on a certain day.
Wow.
And the idea is everybody's going to have pizza for dinner, or muffins or cookies. And it's a company pizza party. They don't necessarily have to be on a meeting. It's just, everybody's eating pizza on Tuesday night on this day.
It's fun. And
sounds like fun.
solidarity sort of thing. Yeah.
We just did a class, Heather, to that point where the graduation, we actually sent out the graduation awards and some other local paraphernalia to them and wrote on there, do not open until this graduation date. And then everybody was on Zoom and able to open at the same time and see the excitement of what was in the box. And it was a lot of fun, but we just thinking outside of the box, literally, just scheduling the time and having it fun.
Yeah, one of the things I've been challenged with in my years in consulting is that people tend to coalesce around the systems that they work on. So the people that work on the accounting system all sit at the same table at lunch with people in the accounting system, and the production system are over, and they tend to be siloed and not know one another. But now we're forcing everybody onto the same tool, and that tool is Zoom or something like it. And I think there's going to be a long-term cultural shift as a result of that, because it's something that will bind people in using that same tool. And I suppose it's been the same way for thousands of years. People that use plows hang out with people that use plows, and since people that use swords hang out with people that use swords. But if we're all using Zoom, I think there's something there to build on.
I think it's going to increase creativity long term, because you're not going to be sitting with the same group of people who are like-minded.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Whether you want to or not, you're not.
Absolutely. Well, unless there are any other questions, I think that kind of wraps us up for the day.
I just want to say thank you. This has been amazing. I was very much struggling with what I was doing, and now I feel much more on the path I need to be. And I've gotten some more ideas to implement in my business. And I definitely have I should not try to do this by myself, like HR. You should use resources. Just wanted to say thank you.
Thank you for participating.
Yeah, we want to say thank you.
And hopefully this isn't the end of our, conversations with you. So be sure to reach out if you ever need anything else. And that goes for everyone else on the call as well. And just one more time, I'd like to thank the Missouri SBDC, who received CARES Act funding through the SBA for COVID relief. And the Block School of Management at UMKC and the Rainier Institute had the great privilege, and the Innovation Center at UMKC had the great privilege of providing this content to small business owners. So thank you all very much for joining, and bye-bye.